raise the big question. Is this therefore a day to celebrate for Nari Shakti or women power, or is it a political Jumla, as some opposition MPs are calling it? Is the battle now on to take credit for women's bill? Narendra Modi versus Sonia Gandhi. When will the implementation of the bill actually take place? Will this bill truly empower women, or will male politicians still call the shots? Just some of the questions. Lalita Kumaramangalam is a BJP member and a former chairperson of the National Commission for Women. JB Mathur is a Congress MP in the Rajya Sabha. Maua Maji, interesting, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha MP. This is one of the parties that has not fully endorsed the bill. And Tara Krishnaswamy, co-founder, Citizens for Bengaluru and Political Shakti. Appreciate all of you joining us here on the show tonight. Let me turn to you, Lalita Kumaramangalam, right away. Do you believe that this bill should be implemented right away? The government has said it will be done after delimitation is complete. Now, that could take years. And therefore, while you make these announcements and make it a law, it will take years to implement.
Steve, it's not what I believe. I wish it could be implemented immediately, but practically it's impossible. To take the 2011 census as the basis for it, it's just not practical. We've had a lot of demographic changes in the country. Population has grown by leaps and bounds, and different states have different percentages of not just the growth in population, rate of growth of population, but many other differences. There is also the demand for OBC to be included, the OBC quota to be included in the quota, not just SC/ST, as has been written down in this bill. Now, to expect it to be done without delimitation being complete would really be rushing things, because then again, when delimitation occurs, which it will, it's inevitable it will, there will again be another scramble for which seats to be given back to women or back to men, and then some given to be women. It gets very confusing for not just the government, more so I think for the Election Commission, both at the central and the state levels. I'm sure the EC has also been consulted in this regard. But like I say, as an activist, I'd love it to have been done even 25 years ago. Unfortunately, it wasn't. To call it a Jumla is unfair.
No, 1 minute, ma'am.
One minute, just no. one more point.
Yes.
One more point, Rajdeep.
Yes.
To call it a Jumla is unfair, Rajiv, because not every, except for 2 or 3 parties, everybody has been supportive of it, and we have patriarchy across the board in every party. Let me be brutally frank here. So I don't think it's a Jumla. The PM has been smart enough to introduce the bill at a time when he knows it will be passed through both houses of parliament. And once it's passed, almost no party will be able to then turn around and say, that, we cannot support it. The bill has cannot be done in this in this form, etc., etc. So Jumla is not a fair word to use.
Okay.
But I would like to congratulate every woman from across every party who has worked for this. And I have seen it being done well before I became NCW chief, where women from every party, Sushma ji, Brinda Karat, Sheila Dikshit, I mean, the name kids can go
Geeta
on,
Mukherjee, don't forget the great Geeta Mukherjee, CPI leader. She was one of the pioneers of this bill.
I don't take her name because she's actually my mother's aunt. So it looks like I'm boasting personally, which I don't want to do. But yes, we used to call her Chhot Dida. She was one of the prime movers of the bill. So what I'm trying to say is that across parties, women have worked very hard to see this come to fruition.
Okay.
And I'm very, very glad that finally this time the bill will be passed.
Okay.
There will be a delay in its implementation, which a lot of women regret. But the bill will be passed, and that is the most important step forward, because finally there is hope that women will get a chance to participate in decision making. This should have come many, many years ago, but finally now when it is implemented, women will get that chance.
Okay.
Both at the assembly and at the center. And we must learn from what's happened at the panchayats. Women have done brilliantly across panchayats across the country. And this is what will be reflected. It'll take 5-10 years perhaps for it to, to come into data and stuff like that. But I'm sure Tara, my friend Tara, will give you, she has much more data on hand than I have, will give you the data, will prove to you that this is a fantastic step forward.
Can I just stop you for a moment? I can see that you feel this is an important day, and I'm going to come back to you to challenge some of what you said. But let me hear from the other speakers, starting with JB Mathur from the Congress, because now we are told that the Congress some Congress leaders are calling it a Jumla. You've got Mr. Chidambaram, former finance minister, tweeting that the women's reservation bill is a typical example of the BJP's deceptive politics. The bill mocks the women of India and asks them to wait till the next census. Now, in the morning, everyone was taking credit for the bill, even in the Congress, including Sonia Gandhi, who is going to speak tomorrow. Now, your own leaders of the Congress are saying this is a deceptive Jumla bill.
Rajdeep, I have no hesitation in saying that tabling the women reservation bill is definitely a welcome move, because Congress party has always aspired and believed that women should be given equal platform in parliament and assemblies.
Yes.
But the devil is in the details. If you look at the clause 5 and also the 334A, see the delimitation clause, it says that women reservation will be come into effect after delimitation and after census. When will this delimitation take place? When will the census take place? What is the need to link delimitation and census to women reservation? Proof of the pudding is in the eating. Now they have managed to show the pudding. That pudding is Nari Shakti Vandan bill. But when will the women of the country get to eat it?
No,
and
but
I
the
wish
women
to say
have been
that this
waiting
is
for
a
25
very,
years, ma'am.
clear
JB
case
Mathur,
of Jumla.
JB Mathur, the women of the country have been waiting for years. When you were in power, you were not able to pass it. You didn't have the numbers. The Prime Minister has the numbers. He's passing it.
When we had the numbers way back, we brought in the Panchayati Raj. That was to turn into reality, and turned into reality, and we have lakhs of women leaders across India. But during UPA time, we had the intent, we had the intention, we had the aspiration. We managed to pass it in Rajya Sabha, but we couldn't pass it in Lok Sabha because we didn't have the numbers. Now BJP has been sitting through for 9.5 years. They could have passed it earlier. Why they didn't do it? They did not even initiate in the last fag, and they come up with this. And I have to say, the Prime Minister is an ardent seller of dreams. Be it 15 lakh in bank account, be it 2 crores jobs per year. And if this is the essence of the bill, this will remain a pipe dream. Because I urge the BJP women MPs to speak tomorrow in Parliament saying that this delimitation clause and the after census clause to be removed, and then the bill to be passed.
Okay.
Because we all want it to happen. We all want to support it wholeheartedly. We believe it.
So
but
you're saying
this is
so
a half-baked Jumla.
Okay, you're saying the Congress
again
wants the delimitation clause to be removed. Then you believe this is a true bill. Before I come to Tara and my guest from the JMM, quick word from you, Lalita Kumaramangalam, because JB Mathur is raising a question that many are. It takes the BJP 8-9 years to bring this bill. 2014 to 2023, you had a majority, you could have brought it. You bring it 8 months before the general elections, and then bring it in a manner that it's not going to be implemented right away. So people therefore are asking, is this a Jumla?
Rajdeep, I think you're sounding very naive. You need majority in both houses of parliament, not one. There was no point in trying to bring in a bill that everybody may wanted, as I say, everybody wanted across the board, when we did not have majority in the Rajya Sabha. Today, we know that it will be pushed through in the Rajya Sabha too, which is why it has been brought in today. I'm not saying it could have not come a couple of years earlier, or the moment we got the majority in the achieved majority in the Rajya Sabha. But bills also take time to write. Consultations have to be held with various sections of people, and probably that was what held them back. However, I'm not amongst the ones who write it, so you don't need to take my word as fact.
Okay,
that is probably what happened.
Let me bring in just a minute.
To me, unfortunately, it sounds that the Congress is now grabbing excuses to say no to agreeing to the bill tomorrow. Yes, the Congress did introduce it at one time, but they were not able to persuade their allies. Don't forget, Mulayam and Lalu, etc., were their allies when it was passed in the Rajya Sabha. And then, of course, the bill was just jacked because the extreme patriarchy in those parties, and I mean, we can give innumerable examples. There's not enough time today, though. Therefore, it was not passed. Today, it will be passed.
Okay.
As I said before, there may be a slight delay.
Ma'am, I take your point. Let me turn to some of the other ticklish issues. Mahua Maji, you're a Jharkhand Mukti Morcha MP. आप मुझे बताइए, क्या आपकी पार्टी इस बिल का पूरा इसको एंडोर्स करती है या नहीं? क्योंकि हमने पहले देखा हिंदी हार्टलैंड के पार्टीज कहते हैं ओबीसी रिजर्वेशन दो, केवल विमेन रिजर्वेशन नहीं चलेगा, वी वांट रिजर्वेशन विद इन रिजर्वेशन, ओबीसी, एससी, एसटी, इनके लिए। क्या आप इस बिल को कल समर्थन देंगी या नहीं मैम?
देखिए, इस बिल को लेकर हमारी पार्टी हमेशा से मांग उठाती रही है। मैं खुद भी पार्लियामेंट में इस बिल के लिए बोलती रही हूं और अभी ये आ रहा है, इसका स्वागत है। लेकिन हमारा ट्राइबल स्टेट है, आप सभी जानते हैं कि झारखंड में 32 ट्राइब्स रहते हैं और वो महिलाएं जो हैं वो अभी पंचायत चुनाव में बहुत अच्छा कर रही हैं। मुखिया का चुनाव हो, जिला परिषद का चुनाव हो, उसमें अध्यक्ष का पद हो, हर जगह वो चुनकर आ रही हैं। तो ऐसे में अगर महिलाओं का सिर्फ रिजर्वेशन होगा और उसमें एसटी, एससी, ओबीसी का रिजर्वेशन नहीं रहेगा तो हो सकता है कि आने वाले समय में सिर्फ कुछ पर्टिकुलर अपर क्लास की महिलाएं, चाहे वो किसी भी जाति धर्म की हो, लेकिन जिसके हस्बैंड्स या तो ब्यूरोक्रेट्स हैं या पॉलिटिशियन हैं बड़े या इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट है, तो ऐसे लोगों के घर की महिलाएं फिर से पॉलिटिक्स में आएंगी और जो ग्रास रूट लेवल की महिलाएं हैं जो डिजर्व करती हैं उनके लिए समस्या खड़ी हो जाएगी। इसलिए हम लोग चाहेंगे कि उनके लिए रिजर्वेशन हो।
सो यू वांट अ कोटा विद इन अ कोटा, तो आप साफ कह रही नहीं मैडम, आप कह रही है 33% में एक कोटा चाहिए फॉर ओबीसी।
एक बात और कहना चाहूंगी कि हाँ बिल्कुल, और एक बात कहना चाहूंगी कि जिस समय ये इस बिल की घोषणा हुई, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने लोकसभा में बात कही तो चारों तरफ ये बात गई और खुशी की लहर भी आई। हमारे पास भी, मैं चूंकि झारखंड विमेंस कमीशन की चेयरपर्सन रही हूँ और अपनी पार्टी झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा की विमेन विंग की सेंट्रल प्रेसिडेंट भी रही हूँ, तो मेरे पास महिलाओं का फोन आना शुरू हो गया इंटीरियर से, गाँव से, और वो लोग खुश होने लगी कि हम लोग भी इस बार चुनाव लड़ेंगे 2024 में। बहुत खुश थी वो, लेकिन तुरंत जैसे हमें पता चला कि नहीं, ये तो अभी जनगणना होगा, उसके बाद फिर परिसीमन होगा और फिर होगा, इनफैक्ट मुझे लगता है 2029 से पहले ये नहीं होगा, तो वो बहुत मायूस भी हो गई। तो मैं ये कहना चाहूंगी कि माननीय मोदी जी जिस तरह से नोटबंदी की घोषणा 1 मिनट के अंदर कर देते हैं या लॉकडाउन की घोषणा करते हैं, उसी तरह से अगर महिला रिजर्वेशन बिल लाने की घोषणा उन्होंने करना चाह रहे हैं तो निश्चित रूप से इसे भी तत्काल होना चाहिए, न कि सिर्फ ये एक आप सब बाग दिखा कर।
नहीं, मैं मुझे आपकी बात ओके, सो आई
ज्यादा खुशी होगी, हम लोग इसका स्वागत भी करेंगे।
मैम, आई हैव अंडरस्टूड मोस्ट ऑफ द पार्टीज देयरफॉर आर सेइंग, एटलीस्ट from what I can gather, the opposition is saying implement it now, do not wait for a census and delimitation. Interesting, because Tara Krishnaswamy, one of the feelings one got in parliament today is the male MPs are not happy. And therefore, while the Prime Minister has been able to drive the narrative of Nari Shakti, the truth is the male MPs have been given time till 2029 to digest the implications of what happens. Where does that leave it? We are kicking the football, it appears, into the distance. Are you okay with that?
First of all, it's nothing but good news that the Women's Reservation Bill has been tabled. There's no two ways about it. Could it have been tabled sooner? Absolutely. Especially given the delta between the 2008 bill and this is just the delimitation and census. Surely, that didn't take this degree of consultation or warrant a special session necessarily. So it could have been tabled sooner, but here we are. And the fact that it's tabled is a good thing for women. Now, by linking it to delimitation and census, really 2 or 3 things here. One is by linking it to delimitation and census, you're pushing it out. But what you're also doing is comforting the men that the total number of male held seats may not change very much, because if the overall number of seats increase, and men today hold 543 minus about 78, close to 470 seats, they may continue to hold 470 or more seats when the total number of seats increases. So there's a certain degree of pandering to the male child that is happening, but in politics that may well ease the path. What is unclear to me is why they had to wait this long. This could have been initiated even though they didn't have a Rajya Sabha majority. The consultations could have been initiated ahead of time so that the bill doesn't have to be tabled this late. The consultations could have happened. We know it's coming. It's not some kind of a surprise slam that is needed. Now, the credit for the bill, clearly partly what the BJP wants to do is to reap political capital for tabling the bill without necessarily actually implementing it, because implementing it is going to be a tricky thing. There's a lot of disgruntled male MPs and MLAs, and that's going to affect a lot of parties, including the BJP themselves. So they want to be able to take the political credit for it and defer the implementation to post 2024. And remember that at 50%, women are the largest minority vote bank that you can go after.
But
and the thing is,
but why will they not take credit? The BJP will take credit because the Prime Minister is the one who's pushing it through this time.
That's what I'm saying. The BJP will take political credit for it without implementing it in 2024. While your credit comes ahead of time, the implementation has to wait for another 5 years or 6 years at least.
Okay.
Who knows? And then what happens between now and then? Now, two more things that I want to say. One is that there is always a reference to OBC quota when it comes to women's reservation bill. Are the men in the parliament not Savarnas? Do you not have an upper caste problem with men? Do you only have it with women? So the OBC quota is orthogonal, just like the SC/ST quota is orthogonal to the gender quota. And if you have an SC/ST quota, you're supposed to give tickets both to male and female SC/STs within that, which you're not doing, which is forcing a fencing of 1/3. Similarly, with the OBC quota, who is SP going to give tickets to? Not to Yadavs? Is JDU not going to give tickets to Kurmis? Are these not OBCs? And Kurmi men are OBCs? Kurmi women are also OBCs? So why is it that the gender quota alone is linked to OBC?
I take your point.
And the final thing I think is credit, which the real credit should go to the female voters, because we have made ourselves into a formidable vote bank that even the Prime Minister today is not able to ignore, because women are voting at a greater percentage than men, number one.
Yes.
Number two, they're turning the elections in so many constituencies that catering to us, and we are the largest minority at 50%. That political credit is not something he can walk away from. The clever part of it is he is not giving it to us yet, but he wants the political credit.
No, the truth of the matter is, I agree with your last point. There is a new M in Indian politics. It used to be Mandir, Market, Mandal. It is now Mahila. That's very clear. Mahila is the new M in Indian politics. But JB Mathur, taking up from what I'm hearing, the Prime Minister is going to take credit. Whether it's implemented in 2024 or not, he is going to say Swachh Bharat, Ujjwala, now the Nari, the new women's reservation bill. I am the one who is driving woman power.
That's exactly what I was saying, Rajdeep, earlier, that Prime Minister is an ardent seller of dreams. Now, this time, for this 2024 elections, he is showing women the carrot by saying that we are going to pass this women reservation bill. But does it have the effect? Who are they benefiting? Is the women benefiting is the question. Unless a benefit is received, what is the point of having it? So that is why we are saying that remove that delimitation clause and then have it in place so that
will you support the bill tomorrow with the delimitation clause? I want a direct, Madam, I want a direct answer. Will you support the bill tomorrow with the delimitation clause in, yes or no?
We are very clear that we are supporting women reservation bill because that's something which we have aspired and we have supported.
So you will support it?
Definitely Parliament is the place for debating. So we will debate it, we will debate it because we want that to be a reality. Okay. We don't want it to be a pipe dream for women. We don't want it to be showing a carrot to the women of India. We want them to benefit. We want women to come to the Parliament and to state assemblies not after many years, but as soon as possible. So remove that delimitation clause, because with the delimitation clause and the after census clause, it is very clear that this is yet another Jumla of BJP before 2024 elections.
Lalita
and why would we agree for that?
Why
should we stand for
Lalita
that?
Kumaramangalam did not like the...
of women.
Ma'am, I take your point. Lalita Kumaramangalam, in conclusion, many of the women who also now are saying with the delimitation clause, it's a bit of a Jumla. It's a carrot. Mr. Modi is offering the carrot to people कि चलो महिलाओं के लिए मैंने इतना किया है. The truth is implementation will be 5 years later. The men will continue to dominate.
Rajdeep, the men have dominated, I don't know for how many centuries. What Tara said is absolutely right. That delimitation will probably be the carrot that has been held out to men to get them to agree. Remember that across, and I said this right in the beginning, that across the board, men are still extremely patriarchal. Politics is a very, very patriarchal field, except for few women, many of whom have come up because of their family connections, etc. You will find that the average ordinary woman, to put that in quotes, has not really been given a fair chance to be able to sit in the biggest decision-making bodies
Right.
of this country, the assemblies and parliament.
Okay.
Exactly what the calculation
let me
could
leave it there.
well be what
We've lost the video to
need to get
Lalita Kumaramangalam as she made that important point. The point is, Indian politics has been way too patriarchal for too long. You needed to change it. In that sense, this women's reservation bill will be seen as a step forward. Our political parties failed to give tickets to women, and therefore you've got to bring in reservation. Remember, at the moment, barely 10-15% of most of our assemblies and parliament have women representatives. India needed change. It's the age of the Mahila. This is Mahila power that deserves credit more than any political party. That's really the message of what's happened in the last few days.